seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Lich.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Ripper.
Dire team pick.
Night Stalker.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Drow Ranger.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Time.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team pick.
Yes, warrior.
Dire team ban.
The undying wakes.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Dire team ban. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. Dire team pick. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Ember spirit.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Dragon Knight.
Choose your hero. Prepare for battle.
Okay, okay. Well, hopefully I didn't blow your eardrums out because the game sound just seems to be having a bit of trouble. But I am here. We have reached the end of the draft, and we'll go through the heroes a little bit as we get into the start of this game. I mean, Dragon Knight is butt-ass naked. I don't blame them because the heat is absolutely sweltering. So we'll see if some of these fire-based heroes, the Ember Spirit and the Dragon Knight, can absorb some of that and maybe pop off this game. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. I think one of these drafts a bit more meta than the other. I think Dark Side of the Moon seemed to have taken a page out of the pro circuit, especially with this Drow pickup. The Lich also a lot of flavor. I love the Night Stalker against the two supports here, the Hoodwink and Rubik. If you can get on top of them, as they might try and do here, might be able to secure a kill. Nomi hits a nice bushwhack to keep them back just for now, but with chains leveled up for the Ember, they will secure a first blood for their mid laner. And a strong start here for the dark side of the map. The Chumps on the back foot. This is the Jesse James stack, the fabled Jesse James stack.
Two Dota players in a lane. They might kiss.
And I am expecting us to see quite a lot of all chat in this game. These two teams relatively friendly. Dark side of the map, a team which has had a lot of shuffles of members. So if you don't recognize a couple names and you're a big Dark Side of the Map fan, then that might explain why. We'll go through them as we come across these lanes. So in the mid lane, it will be Ember versus DK, Sparto on the Ember with local Hines. Not certain that these are, I suppose these are the pro names that these players have set for their teams, but and that is what I will be referring them to by, but probably not the most recognizable. They don't match up to the ones on the website. Taylor, what's happening here? I will blame the players, of course, but we expect DK to do pretty well in this lane, although taking a lot of damage here. The Flame Guard, he's got to watch out for that, but Hoodwink being chased down by this Ant Bongella Undying hit the Tombstone level 1, and it's seeming to work, although the zombies, they're going to be able to take down the Squirrel. Nomi dropping as the second blood of the game. Tombstone level 1 is a bit of an odd one, but it seems to have worked out here for Ant Bongella's Undying. Jesse James playing the 3 Tiny here into the Drow range. It's going to be a tough lane for him. As local Hines continues to drop low, might need to ferry a little bit of regen to stay in this lane here. Meanwhile, Dragron on the Night Stalker. I think it's going to be a good Night Stalker game, but there is the Shinny Ursa. So, has to watch out here. The Lich versus Rubik matchup should be reasonably even, I think. As again, this DK kind of playing around with Sparta in the mid lane. Doesn't quite have a level in stun yet, which is a bit odd. I think generally I'd expect 1 point in the stun against most melee matchups. I think the damage is slightly better against a melee here. You can always get it off reliably when contesting creeps. But Max Flame Breath nonetheless will allow the DK to get some farm up, push the waves out.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Bit of a kerfuffle on the pull here. Shinny has quite a lot of creeps to decide between and doesn't manage to connect them as we do miss the kill. Finally in the mid lane, Sparto with the boots manages to dive under the tower and clean up the low health DK who was sitting there particularly low for quite a while, so I'm not too surprised. 3-minute fruits coming up. The tomb is dropped. They are going to try and break the tomb. Jesse James attacks so slowly and Nomi maybe a little bit distracted there, but they do manage to kill it, and now Sea Panda's in trouble, taking a lot of damage, but the spells are used. And Jesse James dropping low, and Bongella, one more decay, that's it, takes him out. As Nomi will retreat away from this one. This Undying Drow lane is again something we've seen more in the qualifier games for TI, especially more than offlane Tiny, I would suggest. Bit of a weird draft coming out from the Chumps, but maybe just some comfort heroes coming through. They're going to look for a little bit of a return go onto Ant Bongella. This is a pretty tanky Undying with 1 level in the Soul Rip as well, so if they do manage to get some burst damage onto the Drow, it can be healed off. Chains out, just harassing a little bit here onto local Hinds.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
It's a continuation of a more chill lane in this bot lane, not too much action so far. Bit of trading of the spells, a little bit randomly, some would suggest. Red Rabbit going all in, but gotta be careful. There is an Ursa nearby. No levels in the overpower, so wasn't too scared of getting bursted just on the edge of tower range there for the Lich. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, there's the point in stun, and Sparto is getting clicked down. Respectful damage and harass out there from local Hinds. As Shikobo throws Dragon back into Shinny's Ursa. And they do manage to clean that up. High octane, kill per minute. This is kind of what you expect from a Division 2 game. As over on the CS charts, Ember and DK respectively doing pretty well in the mid lane as the Tombstone is dropped defensively to try and get C-Panda out of this dangerous situation. Jesse James completely abandoning already this little fight here as Lich does get dropped once again in the bot lane. Just managed to find another lift into the Ursa's open arms.
Denied.
Sparto still pulling away here, hits the level 6 first. And the Lich is also rotating up just in time for the 6-minute rune. Maybe a little bit early, but no bother, especially with an Ember Spirit. Maybe they're trying for the kill on the DK. It is going to be a little bit tricky. He's quite tanky. They use the nukes and the pull already. Up to the high ground, into the chains. Still a level 1 chain, so not quite enough damage to finish that. It's back to the top lane. Jesse James not struggling as much as we expected it against a Drow Ranger. C-Panda and Jesse kind of level on the CS department. Where there is a bit of a big discrepancy is down in the bot lane. This Night Stalker getting bullied off of the wave by this Ursa a little bit. It has hit the night time, so potentially could look with a +1 to try and find this Rubik, but Dragon instead maybe sniping some couriers here.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
That's on the other side of the map. The 7-minute rune, the Wisdom Shrine is coming up, and big invade here from the dark side of the map. So they will give it to the Ember Spirit.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, Red Rabbit claiming their side. Jesse will be very disappointed to see that it's been stolen. But we'll swap over. We'll take a cheeky peeky at the old net worths. Some would say this is a big old Ember Spirit, in fact. 3.7k at 7 minutes. And seemingly full control of the power runes here. Not that local Hinds has a bottle to care too much about it. As Ant Bongella with the Tombstone ready. 3 levels in the Soul Rip. Very interesting here from Ant Bongella's Undying. But this wraparound play seems like it's going to be very, very lovely to get Dragron back into this game. The Tombstone Zombie providing the vision of the Ursa, enough for the Night Stalker to catch. And now Shikobo on the Rubik, surrounded on all sides. Zombies wailing away. There's even an Undead Lich. Double Undead strat in full effect, but this leaves the Drow Ranger alone in the top lane. The nukes are coming out staggered one after the other, but with the level in the silence, C-Panda's completely fine. The nukes are just nowhere near enough damage here, as now Sparta with a double damage rune activated. Nothing left here for Jesse James, and Nomi missing the bushwhack to keep Sparko Sparto at bay
Radiant's bottom tower
is
is
not
under
going to be
attack.
enough to save Jesse James. Lovely rotation there from Sparto.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Take a quick peek back in the mid lane. The Monster Hunter Rathian is laying waste to the mid tower. Every time Ember rotates away, it is a trade-off. You know, eventually this DK is going to be able to take this mid one tower, open up the map a little bit for his team. Maybe even rotate up to this top lane, try and hunt the Drow with the next Dragon Form timing. They might even try it without the Dragon Form here. DK is just strolling up. The Dragon Form is set to run out in about 15 seconds. Is that enough time for them to get this Sea Panda kill? Sea Panda's so low, and they toss the dragon in on top of the Drow. A quick, simple stun, and a lovely play there. So, I mean, maximizing the use of this Dragon Form that runs out as we speak. But I suppose the tiny offlane acting as a pseudo blink for his mid laner
Radiant's middle tower is
seems
under
to be a
attack.
lovely little cheeky play, as we would say on the old mainland. TK, in fact, may be the one to lose his tower, as big rotations here for the remainder of the night time. These teams playing
Radiant's
on the
middle
cusps of
tower
their
has fallen.
cooldowns. As once again a rune for Sparto's Ember Spirit, a haste rune, maybe beelining for the top lane, as the smoked supports stumble suspiciously towards him. Local Hines is going to see, what's this Ember Spirit doing? He's taking my creep camps in my triangle. Little does he know, Ant Bongello's here with a tombstone if they need it. Will drop it on top of Jesse James, and now Local Hines in the thick of it by KSI. Jesse James the next to fall. As with Sea Panda's level 6, they've got enough damage for it. They might even have enough for the squirrel to boot.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And again, overwhelming numbers here from the donk side of the map. You can only hope that your Ursa is really making the most of it, as this Rubik yet to leave the Ursa's lane and rotate away. We'll check in with the Ursa. The Battle Fury's still pretty far on the horizon for how much space this Ursa has had in this bot lane. So not the greatest start here for Shinny.
Alms for the dead.
Which possibly is pronounced shiny, but if that's the case, you better spell it slightly differently. I'm making the case for that, as Local Hines once again. Sparto chasing people down with the Vessel. Now Ant Bongella able to pop the ulti. Even pops the tombstone. It just comes back off cooldown. A little bit of a overzealous dive here. The heal a second off of cooldown. Maybe could have gone a bit crazy, Champ, there. There's Nomi preparing to make some stacks, potentially, but it's quite a long way away, so
Old and sweet.
maybe, yeah, back up to Tiny for a bit. They can probably get a kill with this duo. I mean, honestly, you probably want to just give the Hoodwink level 6 here. Maybe send them to the mid lane, soak one wave of creeps, or you could do that top. I'd like to see that, because then they could try and make this burst play with Jesse James. Meanwhile, with the level 6 Stolen Decay, now Stolen Multi-Shot, probably not what you want as a Rubik, and big Soul Rip coming through is enough to take out the Rubik, who shows just for a moment. They even bring Sparto, possibly not even needed. But this does free up Local Hines.
Middle tower is under
They
attack.
do fort the tower, they're looking to try and defend it in some way. TP comes in, there's a tombstone coming off cooldown soon, and Sparto's already back down here. Drops the remnant, a turn from Local Hines. Nice bushwhack, keeps the Ember controlled just for a little longer, but they don't really seem to have the damage to take him out. And the Soul Rip, it just heals Sparto back to full. This enables the dive further under the tier 1 tower up to the triangle area. The squirrel Nomi manages to come through the tree line with the scurry, but into the open arms of Red Rabbit with the maxed out Frost Blast. It's not looking great for the Chumps. 4-14 at 14. And again, we avert our eyes over to the Ursa. Still working on the Battle Fury here. And it's a bit of a rough one. Not hugely below the other cores in net worth, but I think that just speaks to the general net worths of the cores across this game. They're all quite low. Maybe too much action happening for them to get the CS up. The only one really having a good time on net worth is Sparto, but I think that's because of the kills he's been having. We'll take a look at the scoreboard. 5-0 for this Ember Spirit so far. Powerful performance. And maybe something they need to address draft-wise. This Dragon Knight didn't seem to have the effect they quite wanted here. Ember not only keeping his tier 1 tower alive for 14 minutes against Dragon Knight, but also rotating better. Local Hinds almost finishing the Blink Dagger. They will find another little skirmish here. Anton Jetta on the sideline drops the Tombstone, and the Dregron Night Stalker roll is out to provide the vision. Red Rabbit's even joined, but Roshan's throwing him up the river. He says, no, I'm going to try and save this poor DK. He's had a bad enough game as it is. But it's still not enough as Dregron on this Night Stalker. We expected it on top of these two supports. Not much wiggle room here for Nomi, as even finds Jesse James. Is that who you want to find here? Has the tree throw, but it's just not enough damage ever from Jesse James here. The Lich ult bouncing through a little bit, but not quite close enough together for that to be a crazy double kill there for the Lich. Red Rabbit overzealous partially, as CPAN are so far up in this bot lane. This is surely illegal as they come to punish this with the Ursa and the Dragon Knight, but after the stun, luckily Jesse James from the low ground has the Avalanche. If Drow had gotten away with that, it would have been a chilling tale they told their children for generations. But instead, it's another one on the board for the Chumps, a much needed one. And who got the kill there? It was the Ursa, who does now have the Battle Fury finished up. So the beginning of the ramp for the Ursa here, who isn't even that far behind the top net worths. So we could potentially see a bit of a big comeback in terms of net worth for the Ursa. The Drow, although having a pretty free early mid game at this point, does manage to feed so far deep in the enemy territory. And of course, Drow really wants to be multi-shotting waves. Not too much jungling on this hero. It's not really built for it. And we'll be going the Ags, which I believe is an addendum item to that kind of idea where you just multi-shot the wave from afar. And then the creeps just explode and you can clear the wave in a multi-shot. The Chumps, they smelt blood in the water after this first Drow kill and believed that the Drow would retreat to this top side of the map for safety. Instead, they're not going to find anything, so maybe they'll look to use this DK form once again on the top tower. As dark side of the map, behind enemy lines, although at this point this is kind of their lines. Congregate in the bot lane. Will they just look to push this tier 2 raw? It feels a bit odd at this point in the game, but perhaps they're so far ahead. I say so far, it's only 4k net worth, even though the kill score is ridiculous. Maybe they will. It doesn't look like the Chumps care to defend this tier 2. You'd regularly expect like a Rosh or a Tormentor and kind of continue to build this farm lead. But it looks like they're able to clean up more objectives on the map
Radiant's
without it.
middle tower is under
If they can
attack.
clean up this mid-tier 2 and then hop back over for a
Dire's
Tormentor or a
top
Roche,
tower is under attack.
they're going to be solidly in the lead of this game. The Chumps still waiting on an Ursa Blink Dagger before the Ursa can really participate in anything, so the delays on these items are going to cause a problem here for contesting any objectives. As we do continue to see the dark side of the map team
Radiant's middle tower
stay
is under
banded,
attack.
closely knit together.
Dire's
Apart from our
courier has
Ember
been
Spirit,
killed.
Sparto, who is farming in front of these two Nuka cores. Jesse James with the blink. But they don't even try for it. Maybe too scared of what's behind the Ember. But I think that could have been their best opportunity for it.
I stalk my next meal.
And the bottom Tormentor is indeed pinged out. They're going to be there just in time for it to spawn. Dragonite still struggling on the net worth. Will be going Blink Orchid. I don't dislike it. The only issue being with it is that it's like reasonably slow. And maybe won't have the impact that you'd want it to have, especially if the Ember decides to build into a BKB at any point. Although not really
Dire's middle tower
necessary at this point from Sparto.
Radiant are scattered.
They are struggling a little bit with DPS on this Tormentor,
Has fallen.
but do manage to take it out. And Mechanism, who's the Mechanism built on? It's the Undying, so kind of a max healing build out from this Undying. I quite like it against the burst damage from the Ursa and the Tiny here, so adapting well to the game, I'd say. Meanwhile, Glimmer
Dire's
Cape
middle
flying
tower
out for the
is under
Lich.
attack.
This sustains, good remains.
Under the smoke, Dragron finds a
Dire's
support
middle tower is under
to
attack.
feast on. And where will they go from here?
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Nomi showing on the top wave with the catapult. Almost
Are scanning.
goading them to respond to this move.
Dire's top tower
They are
is under
circled by some lovely drawings on the minimap that they're probably grouped a bit up there. And in fact, dark side of the map, they don't really care. They're going to go for your tier 2 in the mid lane. They don't really mind if you get this top one. And they do show Jesse James up there. They are also waiting in the wings just to see if anyone TPs. With the Blink Dagger finished up, they could maybe find a kill if they decide to TP in 1 up here. And they will start, but Sparto TPs on the top side trees, which forces them to retreat here. So it may have been a generally defensive position to teleport here from Sparto, but it's a position where it would reveal the Ursa lurking in the side. So they kind of cut their losses and give up the move. Meanwhile, Anvangela not going to find a Wisdom Rune, still sitting around here on the side. It's been a little while since that spawned. Set up for a big clash here in the top lane, but still waiting on items here for the Chumps. And Sparta might be the one to find them. Jesse James. Will he be baited by the illusion? It's taking him a while to kill this illusion. I'm not gonna lie, that took a very long time for a Tiny. And Ember just popping them down to provide vision. Does manage to dodge out the start of that avalanche. I'm not sure these illusions should be so tanky, and I'm not sure Rubik should be standing so far up when they knew this was here, but it does create the opportunity for Ursa to jump onto the Night Stalker. Gets put into the Tombstone safe, so Dregron's completely fine, and now Shiny, in the middle of all of them, does manage to find a lot of damage onto Sea Panda, but the zombies and the slows, it's just overwhelming. And now further behind the tower, Sparto on the Ember Spirit, always looking for more here. Stolen Undying ult for the Rubik here will not last very long, as the Ember does chop him down. The Orchid would be great here, but it's just not going to be enough as Sparto. Once again, this massive soul rip from Antbongella. Killing spree for the Undying. It does leave them at 6-2-2. It's almost a 3-2-2, but you can't get everything you want in life. Once again, another rune, but Sparta unfortunately not in the vicinity for it. Take a look at some items across the board. Do have the Ags finished up for Drow. We'll just be into some regular Manta style action for Sea Panda. Ember Spirit will be building into the BKB. The Orchid does get picked up by local hinds on the DK, so there is maybe a window where it's going to be effective. But is more control what they need at this point? It might be they're going to try onto Night Stalker. They're dropping all of the nukes, and it is enough to take him out. So they do have the damage, and they do have the control. It's not all over yet for the Chumps. Their heroes are resilient, and they aren't massively behind in net worth. It's only a 7k difference. And they're looking for a smoke initiation. This Blink Orchid timing on local hinds. They're really making the most of it. Sparto even cancels the TP here, respecting the strength of the Chumps. And now they're into Roche. The Chumps really making a statement here. Sparto could look for a steal. They're teleporting in the Night Stalker, who does have the ult ready to go. This tier 1 tower being available may be a big issue here as they jump on top of the Ursa and manage to take out the Ursa before the Roche dies. Damage out from the Drow from the side. It's pumping, it's pumping. Jesse James the next to fall as Sparto. Again looking for more Sea Panda. Another target spotted, but Dregron will clean that one up with the Void. And what looked like the miracle comeback for the Chumps turns into a bit of a disaster. And it does show you the significance of some of these towers around the map. Having this bot tier 1 hit left over for the Dire just allowed them to TP in on this angle they weren't quite expecting. Probably needed a ward on that side of the Roche pit.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
But again, it's just not something you think of. You don't expect this tower to still be up, and clearly
Dire's top tower is
it's tricky
under
to look at the map.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
High ground may be a bit excessive though here. They are going to try for it, but the Ursa's straight on top of the Drow, who's standing quite far up. Jesse James onto the back, but he blinks into the silence, finally gets the avalanche up. It's lovely nuke damage out from Jesse James, and now local hinds also helping out in the back with his own blink dagger. Managed to get a lot of damage with Sea Panda standing strong, and now Shiny on the Ursa. The target of Sparto managed to get away with a sliver of health as DK kills himself on the Ember Spirit, and Bongella cleans up the kill. This Undying, the last to be focused in these team fights, rightly so. So tanky here, but providing so much sustain.
take that.
And the initiation wasn't too bad for the Chumps. And they're just missing that slight little bit of damage. If they could have finished off the Drow,
Radiant's bottom
if this
tower is
Ursa
under
could have managed to
attack.
do, I mean, anything. Still waiting on the BKB here for the Ursa. And again, not that far behind in net worth. Like, on paper, not too far behind. But just in terms of actual items. It's just need a little bit more for these team fights. Jesse James, maybe surprisingly not going for a more, I guess, supportive tiny build. It's kind of just a straight carry tiny build with the Echo Saber into the BKB. At least we'll be able to get the nukes off under the Night Stalker Silence. And we did see one toss initiation in the early game, but it feels like that's really all we've seen the toss be useful for so far. With the heals of the Undying, the burst damage just feels a bit unimpressive here from the Chumps.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
And with the Aegis off the table for quite a while, they are finding opportunities here. They might burst the Undying here with the help of the Sharpshooter, but it sacrifices the life of Jesse James. Stolen Chain Frost bounces through, but it's not bouncing onto too many people. But Sea Panda, isolated, jump from local hinds, they find the Drow. Shiny forced to pop the BKB, but Jesse James on the side kills Red Rabbit. Now Sparto with his own BKB up, fighting for his life. Night Stalker comes back in to try and help out the Ember Spirit. They're doing a lot of damage onto these cores. Ursa dropping lower, low, he's gone. Dragron next to full. But it's kind of a good trade for the Chumps here. Local Hinds even finds the respawned Undying up into the Yules to try and dodge out some of this nuke damage, but not going to be able to get away here. And Bongella, maybe one of the first times we've seen usage of the Ceaseless Dirge this game, and uses it to feed 2 swift kills into the hands of the Chumps. Strap yourselves in. We could be seeing one of the comebacks. I was going to say biggest, but so far it's not too big. But an impressive comeback nonetheless. If they do make this comeback, 12k gold and 16 kill deficit. I'm sure it will be a storied game for the Jesse James stack for sure.
Flesh sustains, gold remains.
And they got to be fearing this Ursa now with the BKB completed. Shiny looked, well, certainly shiny with the BKB effect. Leap away from Dragron with the harpoon, but the tree, it follows you, that tree. It's got a mind of its own as it flies through the air. And now we expect a bit of a lull to the game. Without the Night Stalker, there's not many moves to be made for the dark side of the map. The Roshan's off the table for a little longer.
Gold and sweet.
And is that a Bloodthorn finished for the DK?
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Or is this just a casual Hyperstone? Sea Panda considering showing on this wave. That would have been a bit crazy. We've seen Sea Panda down in this bot lane way too far up before. But we'll now call for the backup. They do have the numbers here for the Chumps. They're on a ward though, and Bongella's here, and Sparto comes through the gate. They've caught out the DK first. Nice Dog trying to control up the Hoodwink on the side as well. They're going to burst through on this DK. And local Heinz is gone. Bit of a Hail Mary smoke there from Shikobo. But there's not much getting away from the swarm that is the dark side of the map. But Jesse James does manage to push the top wave in, so still securing some farm for himself on this tiny. The BKB still the item of choice,
Dire's top tower is under attack.
as he may need to come defend this set of racks
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
up to the high
Radiant
ground.
structures are fortified. Dire's top tower
They're waiting
is
for the
under
wave,
attack. Radiant's bottom
and they will
tower
send
is
the
under
big
attack.
body boys up to the tower. See Panda
Radiant's bottom tower
does need to be a little careful about getting jumped,
barracks are under attack.
but it doesn't look like the Chumps are in
Dire's
any
top tower
shape
is under
to defend this. They will take simply the ranged racks.
Ever seen someone bleed out in a pit? No? Let's get started.
And the Tormentor possibly next up, but they will need to go top for it. They will begin. Red Rabbit's health going down a little faster than the Tormentor's is. Where the hell is Drow? Sometimes that's what you got to be asking. Where's my carry? We're kind of struggling on this, but they managed to clean it up nonetheless. There's Drow, you know, gains the glory. Thank you, team. Into the smoke. They will leave Sea Panda to push the wave in. But meanwhile, setting up for the Roshan. There's an Illu in there of the Dragon Eye. They were looking for it to respawn. If it wasn't such a long spawn, it would have been a lovely time to do it. But instead, Shikobo caught out. Looking for more. Sparto again with an amplified damage. Blind Remnanting, looking for anything here. As they do pop the Night Stalker ult, they're on top of the Drow with the Ursa Tiny combo, but into the Tombstone. The save from Ant Bongella once again keeping the Drow alive, and now the Ursa with no cooldowns left to speak of. It's just enough time to keep the Drow alive. And they don't have a lot of good hit for it. Jesse James surrounded. Sea Panda's got to watch out. Because Jesse can provide a little bit of burst damage, but with the big heal, again these soul rips from this Undying. The max healer build, even got the Holy Locket. Very effective here from Ant Bongella in this game. Look at the scores, 12-0-18 for Sparto. What a crazy Amber performance we've seen so far. As they will gear up for another attempt at a high ground push. The ramp causing that tree to not quite be in range here, deceptively Y-axised.
Radiant's middle tower is under
As they have a banner in even, not quite in a good place here to keep the creeps protected. And they will do a big lift onto Sea Panda into the shiny Ursa. Maybe just trying to force something out, some kind of reaction from Dragron. But instead, Sea Panda
Radiant's middle
in the quiet between creep waves, able to hit the racks. Local Hinds seeking any opportunity. But so is Sparto.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Nice stun out from Local Hinds with the silence to follow, but there's a BKB and that's all they force out here. As in the mid lane, in the meantime, the Ursa, in the middle of 4 heroes, is just not able to get any damage out. Nice stolen Lich ult there from Shikobo, almost takes out Sea Panda and Sparto. If they had a single stun extra there, it would have been an absurdly good Lich ult. But just not in range, Jesse James, or just not willing to go in. I think maybe a bit of a mistake there from the People's Champ. They do finally find the Drow, but it is going to cost Local Hinds his life against the 2 supports. And now with the second life, Sea Panda Ursa with no buyback. The continued swarm of the dark side of the moon out in towards the Radiant Fountain. Tossed into the base though, under the silence, they're going to find Sparto. And we love to see a dive into the fountain here on the Dota 2 Ireland stream.
Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen.
As Jesse, he's looking for Red Rabbit. And they need to commit the Dragon Knight in to find the cleanup. Lovely bushwhack work there from the Hoodwink. But they're not going to be able to catch Sea Panda on the retreat. Shield rune, in fact, for the Drow. Luckily, it doesn't last 5 minutes or whatever absurd amount of time it used to last. Nonetheless, they're going to use it to gear up towards this top lane. Last set of racks. And they are not letting the pressure up. They're just running it down, even with 2 heroes dead. Could be a mistake from them. Got to play it safe here, and they will retreat. I think they spot the Radiant heroes. Lovely cliff ward just about to expire here. And it's not been checked by the supports. Although Sea Panda, we've seen him feed on waves before. Will show here. Jesse James, does he want to go? He gets seen by Sea Panda and manages to blink away, but now the Urza's blinking back in. So is the Dragon Knight. They're on top of the Drow Ranger. Toss to follow. Do they have enough damage to get Sea Panda? The BKB retreat from the Drow up onto the high ground. It's looking like a wrap here for the Chumps. Shiny might manage to find Sea Panda, in fact, actually, without the buyback. Sparto took so long to show up here, and the fight is messy. It's so messy. Dragron finding the supports. BKB TP from the Jesse James. And a Lich ult that doesn't find anything here. I think this it was a bit of a messy one from the Chumps. I would have liked to see them commit straight on top of the Drow when they had the Tiny and Dragon Knight both in range and ready. If they were even going to try for this kind of move. Instead, one blinks back, the Ursa blinks in, and the coordination may have cost them there. Meanwhile, early Tomb dropped. Just for a bit of extended vision into the base.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
Not feeling like he needs to hold it for the save. It shows how confident they are. Some nice chip damage out from Jesse James, but it's so high committal that it looks like he's going to pay the price. Doesn't even get to take out the Lich here. And Drow Ranger's still dead. They're still up in the enemy base. They managed to take a Rax out. Jesse James, he tosses Sparto away. He says here, yeah, I'm brought back for this, but I'm going to help you escape. The support's trying their best to bring him back in, but even the sharpshooter's going to fall short. As Sea Panda, do you even carry, bro? I think the answer for Sea Panda, at least in this game, is yes. As the Roshan, a couple minutes away for the next one if they want to wait for it, but 27k net worth lead at 44 minutes. They don't feel like they need it. They're going to look for these racks.
A tool to teach.
Sea Panda, the first up the hill. Blink forward from Dragron, just to try and find some units sneaking about as Shikobo finds the ops at minimum. Asking to be jumped on here from Shikobo. In fact, the two supports here, they gotta separate. The Night Stalker can jump them at any moment. In fact, speaking of jump, they jump with the Ursa. BKB immediately out onto the Drow, but they just don't get anything off of it. They get the Lich, but now Ursa's got nothing left. Eaten up just by Dregron on the backline. Local Heinz doing his best to jump on top of the Drow, but with the BKB still running, the Drow able to lay out damage. Jesse James is so desperate here from the Radiant side. And Sea Panda shrugs it off like it's nothing.
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
Good game. And the Chumps will fall to the dark side of the map in game 1 of this best of 2 series. Forgive me if my voice goes in game 2. I'm already struggling here. But I do hope you'll stick with me for one more game here in this best of 2 series. We'll catch you after a short break. Wah-wah-ha-ha-hee-haw. Oh, I didn't see you there. Welcome back to the stream. It's me. It's just Anti-Extreme. I'm running it today, and we've got game 2 of the
Dire
Chumps
team ban.
versus the dark side of the map. I'm gonna hold it together, but I'm losing my mind a little bit in this heat, as you can probably tell.
10 seconds remaining.
But we'll get on with it, as we are getting on with the
5
draft.
seconds remaining.
Let's take a look towards these bans. The Night Stalker immediately gone. The
Radiant
Chumps
team
are... The Chump supports were not having a good time against this Night Stalker. Dragron
Dire
off to a
team
good
pick.
start on this hero, and then just able to get on top of these supports with the silences. We'll see a bit of a switch up in the style here as Vengeful Spirit picked up for the Chump's first pick. I expect this won't be the carry Venge that we're used to seeing in the
Radiant
higher
team
divisions, and instead just a more solid, stunning support for the supports of the Chumps. Meanwhile, Lich back into the hands of Red Rabbit,
Radiant team ban.
but could be flexed to Amp Bongella, although with such a stellar performance on the Undying in the previous game, they could be looking to running back something similar. The Drow is banned out, but you've got other heroes to fill that role. You've got the
10
Shadow
seconds
Fiend in
remaining.
theory to pick up
Dire
as a
team
almost, I'd suggest, one-to-one replacement. But some would disagree.
Radiant team pick.
And in fact, we will see a complete reversal of that. The Faceless Void. I think we usually see this carry picked up as a response to these heroes like the Drow or the Shadow Fiend. But instead, taking it early in the draft from the dark side of the map. So
10 seconds remaining.
maybe almost a bait to say, like, how are you going to deal with this?
5 seconds
I wonder
remaining.
if dark side of the map can potentially flex this to off lane or mid. That could be interesting to see. But for now, we will assume that this is a carry Faceless Void. The Chumps may be stumped as they dip into their reserve time. What would Jesse James like to play as POS 3 into a Faceless Void? I think there's so I suppose there's a few directions you can go. You can go
Invoker.
Dire
a hero
team
that just
pick.
kind of chips the Void down constantly over time. Or I suppose you can pick Magnus, which is maybe going to be the Jesse hero. Although this early Invoker pick also, is this a block pick? Were they afraid of the Invoker,
10 seconds remaining.
Ags, and Chronosphere combo? Certainly
5
could be.
seconds
Instead,
remaining.
choosing their own AoE controlling hero. I don't mind this as a strategy, but in terms of lane matchups so far, I'm not convinced if this Magnus is the POS 3. And we did see how the tiny POS 3 struggled last game. But Jesse, no stranger to playing these slightly unconventional off-laners, it seems.
Dire team pick.
I'm sorry to keep you
Ringmaster.
Radiant team pick.
Immediately followed by Pangolier. Once again, dark side of the map picking up what I can only describe as meta heroes. Ringmaster, possibly the most popular support at the moment that isn't one of the ones that gets banned every game.
10
Alongside, I
seconds
think
remaining.
Bane is the other one that seems to just slip through and get picked up,
5 seconds remaining.
which is not a bad response to something like the Faceless Void and Pangolier here. Although, with the Ringmaster, he has a lot of high-range cancel for stuff like the Grip.
Radiant
And maybe you don't want to
ban.
stack too much control out, as PL will be the carry of choice here for the Chumps. It's okay. I'm not going to suggest it's a free PL game, because I
10
don't think
seconds
so
remaining.
at all.
5
But certainly,
seconds
with enough
remaining.
farm a PL can always make things happen. It's one of those few heroes where you're not too scared of getting chains done by the Pango roll because you can just doppel away from it. And again, if you're quick enough on the keys, you can doppel out of the Chronosphere as it comes around you. But we have seen before the PLs kind of struggle to get their enough items to actually be able to play in these team fights.
Dire team ban.
Dark side of the map still could flex this Pango to pos 3, but I think from how we saw Sparto prefer to play with this kind of divey style on the Ember Spirit last game, I think we're more likely to expect to see him on this Pangolier and pick a more traditional off-lane hero for Dragron. But it is a flex pick for a reason. Do they think they need some more AoE for the PL? What are they kind of lacking? I mean, their high ground push isn't great.
Radiant team
I'm not
ban.
sure a Zoo hero. You could run a Zoo hero if they played it, but I'm doubtful that that would be the choice. I think instead they're just gonna go all in for these team fights, pick another team fighty hero, and then play to go high ground off of a team
10
wipe.
seconds remaining.
Similar story here for the Chumps draft so far.
5
Not really
seconds remaining.
the most confident high ground hitters until you wipe the enemy team. So it does, from that so far with these 8 heroes, it gives me the feeling that this game's going to go reasonably late. Which I do think gives the PL a little bit of a boost in terms of my opinion of him against this lineup. So we could start to see a bit of an even end game, which we saw signs of in the previous game, even though it still was a bit of a stomp.
Remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
No long left coming out for this last pick, assuming it's support, unless they are changing the Invoker or Magnus to support, which would maybe not be recommended. I think it's okay to run these as cores here. But they are lacking a frontliner. So I would expect maybe a melee support to round off this draft. And for that reason, maybe they are considering flexing these support heroes to support and picking up a regular offlaner.
Dire team pick.
And they will go with the Underlord. Now, I wasn't certain about this one. I can't remember if Faceless Void is one of the only heroes that doesn't care about laning into Underlord, or whether it was the other way around, where he really doesn't like it.
10 seconds remaining.
In theory, it seems pretty good. You've got the pit to keep him in place for a little bit. You've got the constant chip damage from the Firestorm. But I think the Void can just heal that up. And then once the root wears off, he can just leap out of the pit. I'm not certain how this matchup in the lane goes. But it does mean they are flexing one of these middle phase heroes to support. Meanwhile, equally low reserve time here. They will be picking up a mid laner with AoE for the PL, so once again, I am preferring the dice side of the map draft here. I think this Leshrac just makes a huge amount of sense here. It gives them the high ground push with the Edict. It gives them the AoE for the PL. It's, in theory, a good matchup into the mid Magnus, unless you get skewered under tower, so as long as you're careful with your footwork, I think this Leshrac really lovely rounding of the draft. Meanwhile, the Underlord, they did need this frontliner, and they have chosen to put the Invoker onto Pos 4. I'm gonna be honest, it's a tough hero to pull off on the Pos 4. You can end up being very, very, very ineffective. It'd be interesting to see if we get the Quaswex and just going for a kind of max EMP annoyance build. Might be pretty good because Void, Pango, Leshrac all care about their mana pool. But we will wait to be convinced here. As game 2 of this series, the final game of this best of 2, is now underway. Some good luck, have fun, as they keep it a little bit high spirits here after a pretty crushing defeat the Chumps in the previous game.
I'm a showman. The rest of you are the circus. Does it tingle?
And Reb Rabbit back on this Lich. Pretty nice performance last game. But we will have to see if Sparto on this mid Leshrac can pop off as hard as the Ember Spirit last game. I think this is looking like a pretty good Leshrac game, if I'm honest.
30 seconds to battle.
And after going, what 20-0 or something in the previous game, something similar to that scoreline, you expect big things out of a Leshrac with this open of a playfield.
Oh, yes.
2 Dota players in a lane. They might kiss.
I see you.
So we get a little bit of voice line action at the start of the game, but
The battle begins.
some dancing around the fog. Not a first blood this time. Both teams staying a bit more conservative on the runes here. Their level 1's really not very good, to be honest. So not too much of a surprise here. As Underlord Invoker is the lane of choice here in the top. And Bongella should have a good time here, I think, on the Ringmaster. I think in theory you trade well into both of these heroes. But Cold Snap gets one proc off from Shikobo, and now just gonna have to wait for it to come back. It's relatively low cooldown though, Cold Snap, but the mana cost is what really limits this support Invoker hero. We'll see how this pays off further into the game as we join Sparto back in the mid lane. Local Hinds once again off to a decent start. As in the bot lane, Red Rabbit taking the brunt of the damage out here from the Nomi Venge. And it is a bit of a miracle that this Vengeful Spirit is able to hold this cup perfectly balanced without spilling it for the entire game, even when doing crazy acrobatics like that. Well, what's the deal with this cup? Anyone know the lore on that? Drop it in the chat. It's not the Goblet of Fire or something, right? As Sea Panda walking off the harass. Although Jesse James choosing the passive level 1, so just looking to outplay Sea Panda on the CS. And so far they're both equally struggling, I'd say. Bot lane stun out from Nomi. And now comes the little lance from PL, but it's just a little bit of a tickle this early in the game. Traded water runes here as Sparto baiting Local Hinds into the river, but Local Hinds reverses the bait and says, Lumphao, you clicked your spell. I'm just going to walk away. And Chocobo, now with the Forge Spirit leveled up, this is interesting here. Able to trade out with the Ringmaster with this specific setup. I wonder if we will see Quas Exhort to follow from Chocobo, just applying, going for this Sunstrike Axe build in fact. But it is the Urn queued up, so we'll have to wait and see. Both mid laners here still trading farm. And we'll have to keep a sharp eye out in case one of them steps up too far, because one of them's got a Skewer Under Tower and the other one's got an Edict of Death. Red Rabbit's still able to soak up a lot of damage here for Dragron, which does mean he is keeping up here with the PL. Into the top lane, they were looking for this Invoker. Sea Panda does have the leap and gets it off between the ticks of the Cold Snap. Meanwhile, Ambogella all in for this Chocobo kill. Falls first, but does finally catch the Invoker with Blood Grenade ticks. Meanwhile, Skewer in the mid lane pushes Leshrac away from the Magnus just for a little bit. An overzealous go here from the Ringmaster in the top lane.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Ends up lending first blood to the Chumps. Red Rabbit trying to trade into this Vengeful Spirit, but needs Dragron to help out. But this makes space for Shiny to go onto Red Rabbit in the backside, and with the Blood Grenade to follow, they're able to get the kill, and now turning further onto Dragron. They're wailing away. Dragron goes in, trying to get the kill onto the Vengeful Spirit. But there's no way that one's happening. And somehow, I mean, with off the back of this Vengeful Spirit trading into the Lich, somehow they're coming out on top in this bot lane with a PL. It's very surprising to me. It just maybe outclassed in the laning in this game. As once again, Mischief in the mid lane. Big pit in the top lane from Jesse James. As the Sunstrike comes through from Chocobo. One of the closest range Sunstrikes I've ever seen in this at this point in the game. On a side lane at least. But it pays off, and this combo kind of working out for them. I was a bit of a doubter of this Phosphor Invoker, but Jesse James does have the setup to make the Sunstrike work here. They may not be able to get the kill onto the Void, but they could farm this Ringmaster, who is having to smoke out the base. Just in time for the 6-minute rune, though. They're putting a lot of importance on it, bringing both supports for the dark side of the map. They want to secure Sparto this great game, and they know it's a great hero here. So I think this is ideal that they place this importance here like this. If they can turn this into a Magnus kill as well, that would be perfect. But Red Rabbit, a little bit of indecision here means that Sparto skewered under the tower, but the RP from local Hein to the Ursa, they actually turn it onto the Leshrac, which is a massive failure here. With a 2-man support rotation ending up in your mid laner dying and the support. A perfect skewer into RP here from local Heinz. Some redemption from the previous game on this DK. And I mean, massive signs of life here from the Chumps, not dissuaded by last game. 6-1. They've really turned it on its head. Chocobo doesn't actually really need to be too scared, because as long as Jesse James waddles over, this Ringmaster support is not feeling too dangerous with a Faceless Void as his follow-up. In fact, they're going to drive Sea Panda away from the tower here. And Bongella does peel the creeps away from the tower, so lovely work there. Just keeping the structure intact for as long as possible. And the level 2 Swash didn't actually do a lot of damage to the PL there. 10 armor, possibly the reason for that. Even has 5 tangos left on this PL. Basically untouched here. Which is... I mean, you are loving life if you're PL here. But you may be slightly concerned about having a Leshrac in the mid. At least they've sorted out Sparto a little bit with this kill under the tower. Really put a dampener on his farm. As we take a peek over the networks, Jesse James on top. And then the other 2 Radiant Cores to follow. Hit out onto the Ringmaster, but little cheeky hop away. As right down to the bot lane, Red Rabbit. Ran at by the PL, but Sparto's rotated in. It's huge damage out from the Leshrac. It's not looking good. As once again Sparto showing why he's not one to be counted out, even after feeding a kill under the tower. Sparto has been putting in the work on these rotations in both games. Some excellent side lane action as they bring Red Rabbit to the top lane, trying to keep this Ringmaster alive as Jesse James now chase down the Chronosphere dropped by Sea Panda. It's very slow damage, but it's enough time to bring Dragron up. TP's to the tier 2. And it looks like they'll get Shikobo here. Not choosing to go into the Ghost Walk for some reason, maybe just trying to relearn the recipe. And in fact, the delay in that brings up the timing as Dragron body blocking his mid laner. I think they're really feeling it. Even though they're slightly behind in this game, they're in a confident spot, especially after last game's performances. I did just get a mouthful of all the bits from my orange juice here. Not what you want to see. I should have shaken my glass a bit better before I took a sip, as we had a little break in the action here. Meanwhile, PL just fighting up against Dragron, trying to bait out the Pangolier to stay in time for a Jesse James rotation. But now Dragron sees Jesse James go back through the portal. In fact, Sea Panda takes the portal down here. They're completely turning this one around. Jesse James again back through the portal is in time to clean up Dragron. And now Sparto in a bit of trouble. Local Hines might have to drop the RP before he dies here. But he gets feared up, does finally drop the RP. Sunstrike comes through, it's out onto the Ringmaster, but they don't have the follow-up, they don't have the chase. Jesse James drops the Firestorm, but the fight's splitting up here. And if Ringmaster can make the great escape here, it would be pretty funny, but no unicycle in tow. They might just give up. Sunstrike, it's on the money from Shikobo. Ole indeed. And let's not forget there's action in the side lanes all at the same time. Vengeful Spirit does have the swap. But I think the TPs are now all on cooldown for the Chumps. Dragron taking a lot of damage there though. Nomi could maybe just clean Dragron up. The Sunstrike! Oh my god! What the helly? I mean, the well played drop from Dragron there, but you know, what were you expecting really? Blink Dagger on the horizon for the Magnus. Bit of a faster timing than last game. And that is what they need to continue controlling the lead here. As they are looking for Red Rabbit. On the side here, the PL feeling confident enough, but not confident enough to chase into the Frost Shield. Meanwhile, double roots up for Jesse James, so a long old disable there. Not that they really have anything that requires it at this point, other than the Firestorm. Though they will bring Shikobo under the Ghost Walk to the bot lane. And Nomi does manage to clean up the sentry, so the Invoker might be able to find some surprise angle here. Bouncing back to the PL is the Lich ult. It supplies a lot of damage on the sideline though. They find a big pit onto the Ringmaster. But meanwhile, Dragron's still ripping and tearing through these heroes. And once again showing up to get active. The Faceless Void is here, but it's into an RP. Local Heinz finds him lacking. And the Sunstriker, again, I mean, it's not even needed. The Chumps, once again, turning these fights with the excess rotations. They've got the Underlord. He can join at any point.
A bounty which my matriarch will prize.
And this Leshrac, he's not got an item yet. It's 14 minutes into the game. It's on the courier. Is this the Blink Dagger reveal? It is. So Sparto really needs to make this one count. And Jesse, James and Nomi, they're up onto this tier 1, but this is so far up. In fact, they even dropped the Chronosphere for this one. And sometimes you just gotta ask yourself, you know, is it safe to stand here?
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And sometimes the answer's no.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Shouts to the Centaur. An annoyance for PL players. As again, this tier 1 tower, the sights of the dark side of the map. But still, defense out from the Chumps is initiated. The swap comes through to Red Rabbit into the box, but stands still in the ice wall, but gets out the ulti as Dregron, controlling up the Invoker and the Underlord. Don't walk too close to each other as you try and escape this ice wall, but will die to the swash regardless. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Sparto under the tier 1, he's going to get skewered back. Where's the follow-up? Jesse James is teleporting in, and he has the pit. He's got the Firestorm, he's got the Rod of Atos. He's not got a Firestorm, but he doesn't need it. Slight correction error, and now they're back through the pool. Straight back to defending this bot lane, keeping this tower alive for an unknown reason, really, other than just to rub it in the faces of dark side of the map. And with the roll on cooldown, they can all but pick at Jesse James from a distance. But Faceless Void now, no one's there to really check this carry out of the lane. His own tower still standing, in fact, as he will be building into first item Mjolnir. Dragron manages to dodge the bench stun there, and manages to dodge the swap, it seems, as well. Dodge, obviously being a word I'm using very liberally.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower
As our dynamic duo from the Chumps in the bot lane will fall, as Seekbander ships in the night with local Heinz on the Magnus. They trade places here. Hasted up. Just kind of chilling around. Might look for Dragron here if he's not aware that there's other heroes in the vicinity. Has an RP ready to go. The bench stun is there first and they skewer him. What was Dragron thinking? They have these nukes from range. He saw both heroes. And I'm not certain that this box is going to be enough to save anyone ever, really, in this game. Respectable game out here from the Chumps so far. Sparto, the magic that we saw from game 1 from him, possibly lost as a little bit of biggie lags. Shoutouts to the servers, but it seems like it was just a temporary stutter. It would be heartbreaking now if the servers died after the start the Chumps have had. And it would be equally as heartbreaking for myself because my voice is already struggling. My apologies to the viewers. I'm doing my best here for Irish Dota. Shoutouts to the IDL. And a bit of a slump in the net worth for the Chumps. The lead not so much increasing now, but their core staying on top just by a little bit. Just by a little tiny bit. Although the Faceless Void starting to ramp here, will be chased away by the PL. He does have a Manta style. They are looking for the PL here, but the Blink in Toe Sparto is rotating up. Hopefully they don't get baited onto this camp. But some great awareness by Shiny Shinny.
Radiant are scanning.
Meanwhile, Dragron again maybe getting caught out here. With the skewer to seal the deal. As shoutouts to the Mayans as we hit the 2012 scoreline.
Radiant's top tower is under
Can't believe the
attack.
world ended. What a crazy ordeal.
Fortified.
Might have been the Aztecs, but
Dire's
you know,
bottom tower is under attack.
forgive and forget, or whatever the saying is. Sea Panda with the Chronosphere ready to go is showing on this bot lane, and that means Sparta can blink in for this support invoker. Shikobo straight into the Ghost Wall, had it queued up here, but they've got dust this time. But it's a quick escape from the rest of the Chumps. Nowhere to be seen, all dispersed across the map already. As PL will be building into the Aghanim Scepter. I think this is what people tend to build on this hero nowadays. You get the Illus every time you like phase through a unit on your rush. On paper it seems a bit odd and bad to me, but obviously I'm terrible at the game, so you know, I'm sure it's good. There's a chance it's just really good for farming, and I'm just reading into it poorly. But
Dire's middle tower.
it's certainly the go-to at the moment in terms of item builds. Meanwhile, the Void still working on this Hyperstone. Not feeling safe enough to batter this catapult down. But who shouldn't be feeling safe? It's Red Rabbit. A little bit of a grief tornado there. The first time we've seen a bit of a grief down from Shikobo, and might pay the price with his own life. Ringmaster roll off the mark. Shikobo mech'd up by Jesse James, but they've got the nukes to take him out. It's the trouble with these support invokers, you know, or at least invokers in general. I've certainly seen a few angry comments towards Nagy in a Wong's game when he's been tornadoing, so it can happen to the best of us, I'm sure. But I'm doubtful that there will be angry comments in this game. These teams very positive. They're keeping the morale up. But it might be hard to do that for Dragon this game. We're going to check his scoreline, but it's 6-6. Okay, he's been dying a lot, but he is making the kills for his team happen. So, as much as you can ask for an offlaner, really. Mech is the item of choice for Leshrac. I can see why, but I do think it should probably have just been a BKB. Like, sure, okay, you're buying the Greaves to purge the root, or the Cold Snap, I suppose, or the Vessel, I suppose, from Invoker as well. But I mean, you could just be, surely you're just going to build a BKB anyway. I think it'd be crazy not to. We'll have to see. Clearly playing for a later timing. And we did say that this game is penned to go late, given the drafts that we've seen.
Dire's top tower
Dota
is
players
under
in a
attack.
lane. They might kiss.
Flashbacks to last game. They're letting Nomi hit the tower alone here. As the Invoker will get a little glimpse of what's in store.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Still a ways off the Ags for the Pangolier. Will they try for this Sea Panda kill? The Scream comes out a little early from the Vengeful Spirit. As a wrap onto the backline, they found the Magnus immediately with the roll. And this roll coming through, Chronosphere, it's huge, it's onto 3. The follow-up from the Lich Ult, it's going to bounce through, but the PL's already out of the trap. Can the PL escape from this bloodbath? Shikobo under the guise of the invisibility. In fact, PL maybe doesn't want to escape, they've used all their spells. This is the optimal time for a PL to go back in. And now Shiny looking to man fight up against all of the dire side heroes. Leshrac with not a lot of mana. Jesse James' arrival. It was heralded, it was written as the PL looking for more tasty heroes to fight. Sparto, one spell left. It's the Edict, it comes out. And it might be enough to keep them off his back. As Jesse, not enough time to go back through the portal, my friend. And in fact, no one really dies after that initial jump. And we'll take a quick hydration break. Shout outs to the World Cup. What an absurd new rule to play extra adverts.
Invisibility.
Meanwhile, with an Invis rune and a double damage, local Heinz could look for something a bit crazy here. But you don't want to throw. I would love to see him try for it though, with the RP coming up soon and the Sunstrike ready on the sidelines, as well as the Vengeful Spirit nuke follow-ups. They do have a smoke, and they are heading up towards where the Faceless Void is farming. But it is just to connect with the team for now.
Radiant's bottom tower
Sees that the
is
camp's
under
been
attack.
cleared. They drop the sentry, but it's not quite near enough the observer ward. In fact, they drop their own obs within full vision of the
Radiant's
Dire.
bottom tower is under attack. Dire's top tower is under attack.
And now another standoff here in the top lane. We could see another crazy fight like we did last time. Swapped into the root, into the pit. There's no escape for Sea Panda. The Manta style, I mean, look how much gold away it is. It's
Dire's
still a
middle
couple
tower is
like
under attack.
1,500. Mist Tornado out from Shikobo. but it makes a lot of space for them to find another drag back into the pit. This skewer into Underlord, performing excellently here for the Chumps as a sort of catch. And a huge Aghanim's pit coming through from Jesse James. Out of the portal he pops. Into a box goes Red Rabbit, but the box wanders into an RP from Local Hines. And it's bad to worse here for the dark side of the map in Game 2. After a bit of a shellacking in Game 1, the Chumps, they really came back into this one with a ferocity that I've not seen from them so far in this tournament. And they claim their first set of racks.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Has fallen.
Gonna take this time to take a quick peek at the standings. And both of these teams yet to win a series. Jesse James, however, maybe yet to win a 1v1 against a Leshrac. But the Chumps are bottom of the table so far, behind Dark Side of the Map, who are one place above them because they've drawn one of their series. They've also played an additional one.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
So this is a very contested series here. Maybe determining which of them will end up bottom of the table at the end. But if they do come out with a 1-1 here, the Chumps will finally have a draw on the board. And it's always a lovely confidence boost. Shikobo drops the combo onto Ant Bonjala, but Leshrac YOLOs into here. Has the Greaves ready to go, and they've hypnotized the PL, but where's the follow-up damage? It's not quite there in time. Shiny rolled on. Further damage coming out. The Lich Ult's bouncing around. It's on top of Jesse James. And out goes the PL from the fight. No cleanup time from the PL, but a lovely skewer from Local Hines. Again onto 3. Finds the huge cleanup. Seapanner has to drop the solo chrono here to try and recover the fight. But Pit into Root, into Pit, into Skewer. They've got the control. Ultra kill from Local Hines.
Dire's courier has been killed.
And we were glazing the
Dire's
enemy mid
bottom
laner.
tower has fallen.
Sparto had an absolutely godlike Ember Spirit performance in the previous game. But good lord, Local Hines has taken it and ran straight back in with it. You can only take so many fastballs before you knock one out of the park.
Dire's bottom
And
tower is
for
under
clarity, I've never watched a single game of baseball in my life, but I hope you enjoyed that attempted reference. Yeah, we're keeping it. I'm keeping it a buck with you. I'll keep it a buck with the Dota 2 Ireland audience. 9k lead for the Chumps.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
PL slightly behind on farm compared to the other two cores.
Dire are scanning.
But a good performance out here from Shiny
Dire's
on the
middle tower
PL
has fallen.
regardless. Playing the edges of fights pretty well. And the lane went exceptionally well here for the PL. Very, very surprising, honestly. But that was a long time ago at this point. 32 minutes into the game. Half a stack, some would say. Shouts to Taylor. Loves Minecraft, that guy.
Dire's
We've
bottom
yet to see a
tower is
Roche
under
this game.
attack.
And we've yet to see a Tormentor, I think. We saw a lot of Tormentors done in the previous game. It just seems like the teams are more concerned with fighting as potentially... I mean, clearly, you know, we caused that to happen, right, chat? as it was written. The Tormentor is taken.
Is under attack.
Shard for the PL. And Sparto's got to be a bit careful here. Bit of a scary blink there. But does manage to escape.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant are scanning.
And do they head straight to the Roche? Question that could be asked. Seems like the answer is no. As competitive wave clearing occurs in the mid lane. Pango coming out on top with the Aghanim Scepter.
Radiant are scanning.
Local Hinds seeking for an Octarine Core as the next item. I can only imagine it'll be a refresher after that. Because what's better than 1 RP? I mean, maybe he doesn't need it. He's been finding exceptional RPs throughout the game so far. As a duo, they may be looking for a wandering support here. But they might find Sparto instead. Needs to be careful if he chooses to blink up to this high ground.
Tower is under attack.
They will in fact see the PL though. Does show on the wave. But a bit scary going for that one as Red Rabbit and the Pangolier out here in the fields. Certainly are fighting for their meals as Red Rabbit will be feasting on a Lotus in time. Shield Rune available in the mid lane as Dregron will again safely push out this wave. Good attempt there from Invoker, but fast fingers from the Pangolier. Bit of a weird smoke move here in the bot lane. Maybe they were looking to catch Sparto, who has been briefly showing on this bot lane to push the wave out and just kind of camping out in this area. It does feel like they might be able to find him here. No BKB to speak of. I was a bit worried about this build up. I saw the Greaves come out for the Leshrac. And, you know, you are playing into RP, like it goes through BKB, but you're also playing into an Underlord, a PL, an Invoker. Surely, at some point, Sparto needs to build into a BKB. And this might be the thing that costs him here. Although with local Hinds in the vicinity, the RP is always there to cancel it. So there won't be an escape here from Sparto. Nice blink, but the swap is that they've just got too much control here. I mean, speaking of control, even Jesse James is showing up with the pits. It takes them a little while with 5 heroes, but nonetheless, 1,000 gold in the pocket of PL for killing that Leshrac, which is a little bit crazy considering they're the team that's already ahead. And finally we're into the Roshan. Scouted by the Ringmaster from the high ground with a little dagger. We'll see if the Magnus chooses to blind jump up here. I say blind, they've got an Obsword to spot everything out from these two supports. It just doesn't quite find the angle for it. And what's worse than the PL that you can't kill is a PL that you can't kill with an Aegis. 3 and 3 so far in the PL, but it feels, with this net worth on the Phantom Lancer, like it might be insurmountable here, even with a nice Chronosphere. You might have to catch the PL alone in the Chrono with a Lich Child bouncing between the Spire at this point. As crazy blink in from Shikobo, we've seen the Invoker a pretty premier showing here. I say premier, I mean premium
Dire's
showing.
bottom tower is under attack.
Clearly my command of the English language not as good as Run and Tell. Shoutouts to Run and Tell. Brute will catch the Lesh, but it's not inside of the pit, as what is inside of the pit is Red Rabbit, who drops the ulti onto the PL. The roll comes through as well. They might be able to find a PL once, but the Lich Ult finishes up without killing the PL. The roll from Dragon does catch the PL's final bit of health, as Big RP on the backside onto the 2 cores, but the Skewer only pulls out the Leshrac, but in fact they've got another one ready to go for the Faceless Void. And with diebacks on these 2 heroes, it's looking like 1-1 for the Chumps.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
And I don't recall seeing it, but I felt like I saw 2 RPs there. Was that a refresher shard on the Magnus?
Dire's bottom barracks has fallen.
Keep an eye out for that one on the...
Dire's bottom
I'll
barracks
confirm that
has
on the
fallen.
stream because I got the delay on the other side, but we'll see if that happens before they end the game.
Tower is under attack.
As straight towards this second set of racks,
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
third set of racks in fact. I forgot they took this top set of racks about 20-25 minutes ago.
Dire's middle barracks has fallen. Dire's middle barracks.
And it's the Mega Creeps. The horn has sounded. Not much left in the tank here, especially for a team with a carry Faceless Void that doesn't really have to wave clear for these Mega Creeps.
I see you.
And what a bounce back from the Chumps after game 1.
So this whole mess is all your fault?
Yay me!
But yeah, this refresher out from the Magnus. He finds a 2-man RP on the 2 important cores. And then Faceless Void jumps in and says, yippee, get me in the refreshed RP as well. I don't necessarily think the dark side of the map are playing particularly poorly, but I'm just not a fan of how they open the draft with the Faceless Void. I think unless it's specifically countering one of these turret heroes that carries tend to run nowadays, it is feeling very ineffectual. Even when dropping the Chronosphere, you're not finding the kill onto PL, and potentially that's because you just don't have the best Chronosphere follow-up either. So, possibly some things to ponder on regarding the draft. As refresher coming up shortly, off cooldown for local hinds. And a BKB finally queued up for Sparto. But it's often the Mega Creeps have fallen. It really feels like you could have used this earlier, as Jesse James, the massive pit comes out, it finds the Ringmaster. Escapes in the box, the tonic comes out, and a little cheeky stun there from Dregron's Pangolier might be able to keep the Ringmaster alive as Sea Panda looks for the Chrono. He's hitting the PLs. Which one's the real PL? Do they have the follow-up damage? Sparto not quite close enough to apply any of the AoE damage there, but it's close enough to get caught in the RP once again by local hinds. The second one to come through as well. And Dregron, the last core alive. The buybacks come through, but Faceless Void doesn't have one. And now Dregron falls inside what can only be described as a circle of death from Jesse James. Nomi up to the high ground. The double stun comes through onto Sparto's second and only life remaining in this game. Does find the damage to clean up one. Shikobo drops the wall to keep them back, but Red Rabbit with the blink is over the top of it. And they have made a defense here. They finally found the PL on the sideline there, and they're going to clean up the Invoker in tow. But meanwhile, what's happening in the base? It's the Magnus Illusions wailing away on the tier 4 towers, and Bonjella's not having a good time against these Mega Creeps. And I know I said last game it would have been an absurdly good comeback game. But if Dark Side of the Map pull this one off, this is a history books game.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And Bonchella on the unicycle. You love to see it. The spotlight not as good as it used to be against Illu heroes. If it was, I would maybe be less unhappy with the state of the draft from Dark Side of the Map. But fortunately for this PL, allowed to be a bit of a monster in this game as the Skadi is finished up. Oh. And I can't help but notice the sun is no longer shining through my window as we near the 2-hour mark of the total series. 43 minutes into the game. We had 2 reasonably long ones so far. And even though there's mega creeps in the Dire base, there's a chance that this continues to go longer. So stick with us. This is the final game of the series. It will either be a 2-0 or a 1-1. But the Chump's looking to make sure that it's a 1-1.
Very good.
If they can close this one out. Dragron doing what he can here on the wave clear. As Sea Panda is going to struggle to get this butterfly finished up before the Chumps are ready to go back. As the Roshan still respawning, so the Chumps have a little bit of waiting to do. As Nomi continues to hold this cup. Oh, I'll take a sip of that. I bet that's a refreshing bev on a hot night like tonight. As they are just desperately waiting for this Roche. Or perhaps leisurely waiting for the Roche. As they feel like they've got a lot of time to work with now that they've got the Mega Creep secured. 26k lead. Imagine if PL didn't exist, then the game would be even. As it will now be a bottom Roche. And perfect timing here on the bot side. Void seems to have found the space to farm up the full butterfly. Just shy of it, a couple creep waves worth of gold.
Roshan has fallen to the Radiant.
Does have to be careful that Courier doesn't get sniped here in the shop though. It's always a scary thing. Does have the claymore on it. Jesse James, 5k in the bag. I mean, shout outs to Dota Ireland. Let's look at the current gold. Holy! This Magnus, 5,600 gold in the pocket. Unspent. And it will eventually be on an arcane blink. But why spend it when you have a 27k lead? You can just save up, do whatever you want. As they look to make the final push here. A win is finally within reach for the Chumps. This will be their first game win of the season if they can find it. Swap initiation on to Sparto with the BKB. He's laying out the damage. He finds the PL, but the PL has maybe found him into the box to get him away. But he's dropping low to the illusions, and the Vessel ticks out to the damage over time from Jesse James. Speaking of, he's on the backline chopping down the support. As the Faceless Void C-Pan and the RP comes through. He doesn't even need the second RP. The refresher, it's just sitting there waiting to be used. And it's just not necessary.
Dire's ancient
And the Chumps,
radiant
they've won a game in the Irish League. Many more to follow, I'm sure, in the bracket stage, but for now they can rest easy that they are at least tied up in terms of wins and draws with Dark Side of the Map, who, I mean, we'll have to fight out the rest of the teams from the bracket and see who ends up at the bottom at risk of being lowest seed for the playoff stage. I have been anti. This has been exhausting in this heat, and my voice is not built for casting. I'm just an observer. Please keep me hydrated and let me observe some games. But thank you for joining me. Congratulations to the Chumps. Commiserations to Dark Side of the Map for the second game, but congratulations to them for a stellar performance, especially on this Sparto Ember Spirit in the first game. So, not too unhappy with their performance there, I'm sure. They will lick their wounds and come back stronger. Speaking of coming back, we're probably back tomorrow with several other Dota 2 Ireland series. I'll just give you the quick lowdown on those. Fost versus MMR Famine in Division 2B. Division 2C, we've got Imprint versus 5 Stuns, which will be a fun one to watch. So those are on at 8 PM tomorrow. We hope to see you there. And thanks for watching.